Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi wa kafa wa salamun ala ibadihi alladhina istafa. We're just going to have a small talk today. Just one hadith that we're going to mention to you. This hadith is from Bukhari. حدثنا عبدان حدثنا عبد الله بن المبارك أخبرنا شعبة عن سعد بن إبراهيم أن عبد الرحمن بن عوف أتي بطعام وكان صائما فقال قتل مصعب بن عمير وهو خير مني كفن في بردة إن غطي رأسه بدت رجلاه وإن غطي رجلاه بدأ رأسه وأراه قال وقتل حمزة وهو خير مني ثم بسط لنا من الدنيا ما بسط أو قال أعطينا من الدنيا ما أعطينا وقد خشينا أن تكون حسناتنا قد عجلت لنا ثم جعل يبكي حتى ترك الطعام. So this hadith says that Sayyidina Abdul Rahman ibn Auf radiallahu anhu, he's one of the Asharatul Mubashara, one of the 10 Sahaba who are promised paradise in their lifetimes. So really, other than the 4 Khulafa, he's one of the most superior, one of the highest Sahaba. And he lived for a very long time and he was known to be a very rich man also. And so one day, this is presumably after the lifetime of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's, of course, like we said, he's a rich man. He's brought a plate of food and he was fasting. So they brought the plate of food for him to break his fast. And he looks at the food and he says, Mus'ab ibn Umair was killed and he was better than me. And he was given a kafan. He was shrouded with a sheet that was so small that if his feet were covered, then his head would show. And if his head were covered, then his feet would show and he would become naked. That was the state that they were in. Sayyidina Mus'ab ibn Umair was martyred in the Battle of Uhud. And this was before the Muslim state that was in Medina was enjoying anything, any kind of luxury. There were very, very dire straits in those times, in the very early years after the migration. So this was the state in which Sayyidina Mus'ab ibn Umair was martyred. And he also said, وَقُتِلَ حَمْزَةٌ وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ مِنِّي. He said that Hamza was also killed, the uncle of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was also killed that day, and he was better than me. Then Sayyidina Abdul Rahman ibn Auf says, the dunya was open for us, or the dunya was given to us. However much it was given or however much it was open. It means it was totally open for us after that. Such that we were afraid that perhaps the actions that we did in this life were being rewarded in this life. And then he starts to cry so much that he just left the food. He didn't eat the food. He got into a fit of crying and he couldn't eat the food. And this hadith is significant because it shows the what you can say, the desire for the Aakhira, the desire to leave the world behind, especially after the death of the noble Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, especially after the end of his Zahri life. It shows that Sayyidina Abdul Rahman ibn Auf was not content with the earthly thing. He wanted more in the Aakhirah. And he knew that even though he was a person of wealth, that this life of the dunya was just a deception. This life for the dunya was just temporary. And he was the furthest away than anyone in his time from actually getting involved in these things. These things came by the hukum of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he allowed these things to be as they were. He did not get involved with them. He used them for what they were, a means. And in his remembrance of the dunya and the akhirah, he remembers the people who sacrificed and gave along with him and who were martyred earlier on. And he's basically considering these people better than him. He's basically considering these people more fortunate than him in a way, because they were taken from the dunya at a very early stage, and before anyone could think that their actions were being rewarded in this life itself. The life of Abdul Rahman ibn Auf could show that he was afraid that perhaps all the wealth that he was receiving, perhaps Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was giving it to him because of what he did in the lifetime of the noble Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. this is how much that they received. And this was what he was afraid of. And this is what any believer should be afraid of. This is what we should all be afraid of. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from the fitna of wealth and from the fitna of the dunya. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it just a means for us, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it to us and we enjoy it to its limits and we understand it for what it is. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.